In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to sell email marketing services. It's Tobey here from Training Business Pros. Thanks so much for joining me. If you are a digital marketing agency, a digital entrepreneur, you're just getting into the business, a freelancer, whatever you're trying to sell to the client in terms of email marketing, there's a certain language that you need to speak in order to close that deal. And I've got 6 things that you need to pay attention to in order to get that client to fork over a signature on a contract and a retainer. And we're going to dive into that in just a second. But remember, there's 6 things that are important here. Number 6 is the kicker. If you do this one thing, there's a good chance you'll close that email marketing deal. All right, we'll get started in just a second. Okay, so today we're talking about how to sell email marketing services. So the first thing we want to do with the client is just actually define that what it is. Because to the client, is that setting up a Gmail account? I mean, a lot of times they just don't know. So what is email marketing services? It's using software to automate the repetitive tasks to do with marketing, sales, and fulfillment. And I've actually done a whole video on the whole concept of email marketing automation or marketing automation. And I'm going to post a link up here in the corner. You might want to go check that out because it really dives into that whole concept of automation. And you can use that as well when you're talking to clients. So this whole concept of email marketing automation, you have to reconfigure that statement and say, hey, this is more to do with marketing automation and email is the tool that we're going to be using. Number 2, this is really important to the client's understanding of email marketing automation. The money is in the list. What does that mean? It means the bigger the list that you have of prospective and current clients, the more opportunity you have to automate the communication process in order to get the prospects to become new clients and the existing clients to become better clients or lifetime clients or purchase other services. If you do not have a constant communication system with those 2 groups of people, then the likelihood that they'll purchase goes way down. Try to remember this. Let's say they visit your website one time and they don't fill out a form and give you their contact data. What do you actually get? The answer is not much. An IP address of somebody who visited, which isn't very helpful. You need their contact data in the form of an email address or even a phone number, maybe to do text messaging. And the reason why you need that is because they're on your website today, but they're not necessarily ready to buy today. In other words, they don't buy when you're ready to sell. And the client needs to understand this. So the person who you're selling your service to, they need to know that it takes time sometimes and several communications in order for someone to make a decision on their products and services. So again, people don't buy when you're ready to sell. That's why you need an automated communication system like email marketing. Number 3, now that you know and the client knows that they need a mailing list, and the bigger the list, the more money you'll make. And obviously the more data you can collect from that list, the more money you'll make. But in addition to that, the client needs to know how you're going to build that list. So it's one thing to say, hey, you need a bigger mailing list, and the bigger the mailing list, the more money we'll make. But you, as the service provider, need to tell them your strategy on how you're going to help them build the mailing list. Is that a search engine optimization strategy? Is that a paid traffic strategy? Are you purchasing lists? Are you compiling lists from other associations and communities and businesses? Are you doing social media? Are you doing potentially YouTube or video marketing? How are you building the audience in order to build the list? The more people that you communicate with, which is really the definition of marketing, communicate with more people about your essential products and services. And again, the more people you find to bring into your mailing list, the better it's going to be for that client, and the longer they'll be a client if you continue to do that successfully. I personally use multiple strategies to help build a client list. So for example, I have one client and we helped build his advanced Botox training course from zero to, I think, a couple $100,000 in his first year without any mailing list to start with. How did we actually build the list? And the answer is mostly Google search marketing, and we're paying for that, leading to a landing page, filling out the form, asking important questions, and then following up with those people with emails and creating meetings, getting a personal phone call or a Zoom meeting. And that's how that doctor closes other doctors on his training courses. So again, the client needs to know that. You need to tell them how you're going to help build their list. All right, number 4. The client doesn't necessarily need to know about the software and what you're using, but you could talk about the difference between third-party software and self-hosted software. In other words, self-hosted like Groundhogg runs on WordPress, and it's a great service. There's some pros and some cons to that. And then on the other side, you could have a third-party service like ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft. Know the difference between the two and find which one works best for the client. I can tell you it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Depending on what the business does, that will dictate which solution you actually end up using. Number 5, when you pick a system, then you're going to have to create multiple communication funnels. So talk to the client about what a funnel is. A funnel is essentially the prospect comes in the top, then there's a confirmation process that confirms their email address automatically by getting an email and double opting in. So it's CASL compliant or CAN spam compliant, whatever your compliance is. But then also, how many emails in that funnel are you going to send in order for the client to take the next action? And then if they take the next action before all of those emails are sent, it stops sending reminder emails if the client does what you want them to do. And then once they do that, what other funnel are you going to put them in? And how many emails or communications are you going to send in order for them to get to the next step of the communication process? Maybe to the quoting stage, maybe to the contacting stage. Whatever you're trying to do, you're going to have to talk to the client from an email marketing automation perspective to save them a ton of time on following up when all they're really trying to do is get a bum in his seat and sell their services to other people and their products, of course. Now, I promised you that when we got to number 6, that this was the one thing that's absolutely going to get you the gig. Now, if you want it, there is one surefire method to increase your odds significantly in getting that client to sign up for your email marketing services. And that thing is proof. You got to have some proof. I mean, if you're just starting out, of course, you might have other people's proof. Be prepared to show that. But if you have your own and you can clearly state it costs us this amount for our service, it costs us this amount for Google Ads or for making videos or whatever our strategy is, it costs us this much. This is how many people it created in our mailing list. And this is how many clients the mailing list created after doing this specific email marketing automation. Proof is the tipping point for most clients. Sure, they care about how you're going to spend their money. Sure, they need to understand that the money's in the list. Absolutely need to know how you're going to build the list, and they need to know what your multiple communication funnels are. But at the end of the day, if you show the client that you've done this for somebody else and it was successful and you've got the numbers and the real-time data to back that up, the client is like, okay, it's going to cost this amount. There are no guarantees, but I, as a successful business person, understand that you've done it before and you've shown me some proof that people are buying. I'm in. Let's give it a go. And once they say that, you're going to say, do you have a budget in mind? That would be a good starting point. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for your time. Thanks so much for watching. It's Tobey here. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. When you do, it lets us know your level of interest and will help us create more content just like this for you and other people just like you. If you have any questions or comments about the content, please post them below and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for your time.